Safely. Rather establish them in the still one surpass perfect compelling the precious of Buddhahood. Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the Kandarula Mandalane Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas or yadams. We take refuge in your exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, the Dakinis, and the Dhamma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma, and likewise in the example of Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas ambassador enlightenment and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path are true for the benefit of all sentient beings, giving birth to Bodhicitta, and apply myself to complete the stage of the path. And the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering, the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I don't respectfully faithful generations. Those who are reaching it at the present and those Tadangadas still to come. Through the power of Samada Bhara's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest within my mind. I posted to them, multiply in my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. With each atom I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas. Thus all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Praise Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great ocean of the excellent qualities. To all Buddhas I make offerings of arrows, pure flowers, flower garlands of music, honoring oils, manifesting light and fragrant incense. I make offering to them of fine garments and perform and prepare for the highest moment on arrange the most beautiful way. I visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I posted to the Buddhas and make offering to them following the deeds of great Bodhisattva Samadabhata. I confess to you, Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas and the 10 directions, those of great Bodhisattvas and the Pakshika Buddhas, those have attained Aharacha, those have entered the path of Aharacha and all other beings. I request to all great protectors and the Buddhas to turn the highest way of Dharma as light dispelling the darkness of beings in the 10 directions and leading them gradually to enlightened states. I supplicate those Buddhas intending passing to Parinirvana to living long for as many eons as they are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through postations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment or sentient beings, all these are dedicated. The ground is spanking with the scented water and strewed with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spring mountain, the four continents, the sun, and the moon. As a Buddha fair, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness as a Buddha fares. To the Lama who possesses the three kayas, I offer altar in all the sacred offerings. With my body, worth, and all that is visible, please grant me the spring realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through postations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all these are dedicated on Guru Rina Mandala Bandamanga Samada Savaran Samaya Hong. I equal refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 worlds. You are the way toward Yadara with all dropped. Avoid the fate of Father and Jitin Sungo. Continue laughing with no one but you. Confession, one grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of the mind. Please turn the way of the Dharma of the true vehicles and the combination according to disposition and likewise mental capacity of sentient beings. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of two words, and perceive the various types of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text at his heart. He has a compassion For all beings who are suffering from the darkness of ignorance and the prison of samsara as a father for only son. Like a thunderclap, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma through the 60 branch of Haramana speech. He was the wisdom sword to cut the settling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. And the Bodhisattva form is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. As supplicated human judiciary, adorned by the 112 son of Buddha, to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade. Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade. Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Arabazanade, Om Wangeshoram, 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 Om Wangeshoram. Om Wangeshoram, you who are the perfect, beautiful body, whose flame of wisdom blesses and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, are positive before you in the praise to Manjashiri. Yunagalen Jama Boyi Shidume Rabdembar Jidin Tamo Menzarwan Jambar Yang La Zanzardo. Oh, is this okay to hearing there? Internet is okay?
It's breaking up a little bit, Khenpo.
Mm.
Jeff just sent a message and said you should go on your hotspot. Do you hear me, Khenpo?
And now you're frozen, Khenpo. It's not that good. I think you should go to hotspot.
Okay, so now everyone okay?
We cannot hear you.
Yeah, well, you're on mute, Khenpo.
You're mute. Khenpo, you're mute.
Yeah, and still breaking up.
Mute, purposely mute is calling from here. People saying something. I have to listen to them.
Okay.
Okay.
If you could go to hotspot, it would be better, I think.
It's already done.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Hopefully, okay. Yeah. If not hear clearly, so then have to change another something. No. We go to the Jigten Sunggun's text. Okay. Tange duje jaje reizan rong yin je me de de je bong jong ba zer je lang bo da wer ji be Chakche Jarbe Sharla Gebo Sanza Dorjen Janjen Delo Naro Damar Pamala Chije Gambo Pamo Juba Jarwa Indigong Be Kaju Lama Nan La Zorwan De Rom Enjije Yenje Bobdan Som Sanje Genje Ngo Nye Ransem Jige Ngong Song Dong Ze Be Zawe Lame Jala No, I'm going to here sharing with you. It's Mahamudra investigation into confusion in instruction on identifying the mud of confusion. So this teaching is requested by Khenpo Zopa and Jigten Sunggo responding and explaining to him, also followed by the questions. And this teaching has a beginning section, homage to Jigten Sunggo, and the introduction about this teaching is the where starting come from. So then Khenpo Zopa, he asked recourse to Jigten Sunggo many questions. So Jigten Sunggo responding him to one by one. So yesterday we finished the questions and he asked questions, that we finished that section. And now Jigten Sunggo is the responding to his questions. So the responding his questions, some is we already finished. So today, so we are among those two. So we are from there, among those two, with respect to the Dharma, the mental consciousness, or the mind come into being the co-emerging ignorance. Linchik Chip Marekpa. So then followed by yesterday, the two important is Dharmata and another is called Dharma. Dharmata is unborn Dharma Dharta. Its true nature. It's called Dharmata. Dharma meaning is confusion. So followed by mind is followed by object. So this two is who realizes Dharmata is enlightened. Dharma means become starting delusion. So now Jigten Sunggo here explain how do we get started the delusions. So here says, see, among these two, the Dharmata and the Dharma, then with respect to the Dharma is followed by the Dharma, the mental consciousness or the mind come into being the co-emerging ignorance. So mind is associated by co-emerging ignorance. Co-emerging ignorance, Tibetan meaning is called Linchik Jipa Marikpa. So Linchik Jipa Marikpa or co-emerging ignorance is the first ignorance, like, no knowing is deluded. Yesterday, explained using by the examples. Someone form bodies appear to in the mirror, and then not knowing it is my own form body is appear to in the mirror. So that's called co-emerging ignorance. No knowing and then become fixation and grasping. So due to that, then, source of attachment and anger rising. So that's why co-emerging ignorance is not knowing is the truth. So the Dharma mind means like not knowing is truth. And then that not knowing is called co-emerging ignorance, called Linjichiba Marikpa. Since such ignorance, so that's it's started ignorance and accord freely. Accord freely means then, just follow by that and become this ignorance like carry the we chasing or just not really stop that and follow that. That's accord freely. So it simultaneously served us the ground for the sentient being. So then that is the ground of ground for the sentient being means started usually we say one ground and the two part is become that ground is for started sentient being and followed by the samsara direction. So one ground, two part become part of the samsara, and subsequently the result is the samsaric sentient beings come into being due to the confusion. So that's the started due to the confusion. And so very easy way, dharmata is natural mind. Yesterday we explained. So dharmata is the same as our own body example. Dharming means like form is appear to in the mirror, and someone recognize right moment there is my form is appear to the mirror, and then that means the knowing is dharmata, is confusion is stopped. But someone not recognizes my form is appear to in the mirror, then follow that and chasing that. So that is called started not knowing is called co-emerging ignorance, and then started like confusion, and due to that and take to the samsara path. So then result is six realms samsara. So that's the Jigten Songpo, he explained very clearly here is where this samsara is come from. Samsaric sentient being come into being due to these confusions. And this is the exactly same is the explained by Khenpo Zambo prayer. So Khenpo Zambo prayer we have one ground, two path, and two result. So one ground is and is the true, is dharmata. And yesterday yesterday we stopped the teaching. So they talk about someone asks how to dharming and the dharmata serve as basis for the Buddha and the sentient being. It's like this, all indicate dharming, the mental consciousness, and the mind ground indicate that the dharmata is devoid of any ground or foundation. So all ground, it's English, you just put together, it's all ground. It's then this two separate, all means indicate the dharming and the mental consciousness and the mind. So then ground indicated the dharmata is that means actually one facet, but then two part. Is recognize is called dharmata, not knowing it is called dharming. So then there's two part, take to two different direction result, samsara and nirvana. So Jigten Sungho explained this, you know what means dharmata, dharming, or to become we are deluded. So next is the dharmata. So dharming means like become deluded. Dharmata, co-emerging wisdom. So see co-emerging wisdom, co-emerging ignorance. So the co-emerging wisdom is, you know, yesterday, like we share example, like your form is an apple tree in the mirror, your right moment recognition is my own body is apple tree in the mirror. So that recognition is called co-emerging wisdom. So you recognize, you're not chasing the delusion. So it's stop that delusion, you know. So that's a co-emerging wisdom. So it's called Rinpoche Yishi, means like it's Rinpoche Yishi is co-emerging, you know, when rising the appearances, recognize appearances rising, when the rising appearances recognize our own emanation. So, and when thoughts arise, recognize thoughts is emptiness. And when afflictive emotions rising and recognize afflictive emotion, you know, it's seeing clearly. We talk about a mirror like a wisdom, and we talk about this different associated wisdom is called co-emerging wisdom. When they're rising and the moment recognize and release it itself. So that's called co-emerging wisdom. So in this one, actually, of course, I'm beginning last time how we get deluded. So that's the long time, you know, how become we are deluded in samsara. In the example, you know, first Buddha is when, you know, rising, nature is rising and recognize it is own emanation. So it's called Kenda Zambo. And then is short term, you know, short term means like every moment we arising dharmata and also dharming mind, every moment rising. So when thoughts, afflictive emotions in rising our mind, and then recognize the right moment there, and release it itself, is called co-emerging wisdom, become, you know, thoughts is become transformed to dharmakaya. Afflictive emotions called transformed to the wisdom. So all the, you know, thoughts, afflictive emotions, appearances is rising from nature ripa, dharmata. When they are rising, moment there, recognize, is release itself is called co-emerging wisdom. So each moment we can have this wisdom. Each moment we have also, you know, the co-emerging ignorance. So arising, not knowing, chasing, follow, fixation, then is called co-emerging ignorance, causes of samsara. So when the arising, the thoughts, afflictive emotions, right moment recognize and release it itself is called then co-emerging wisdom. So dharmata co-emerging wisdom. So that's the, you know, is actually generally talk about unbeginningless time until now. We are all deluded in samsara. Then this, the teaching, this practice is a Mahamudra. Mahamudra is actually have to think about this very short moment, right moment here. And in this right moment, we can be Dharmata co-emerging wisdom. We all can be Dharma. Then Dharma, the mental consciousness or the mental come into being the co-emerging ignorance. So either directions we can go each moment. And the meditators, usually, there's a Mahamudra practitioners, when thoughts, afflictive emotions rising, and the right moment recognize thoughts. Thoughts is release itself. Thoughts is emptiness. So release itself is called, thoughts is become Dharmakaya. And so that is called co-emerging wisdom. And when thoughts are emotion rising, and each emotion when rising, recognize, release itself is called co-emerging wisdom. So that's the, short each moment we have to liberate thoughts, emotion. And we have to create this dharmata co-emerging wisdom each moment, and create that wisdom more often and often. And even not you are in the meditation coaching. So we are, whatever we're doing in the worldly activity, and, when thoughts arise, emotions arise, or other, different kind of conceptual is arising. And in that moment, you just seeing is rising, recognize, and release itself, emptiness. And then that's wisdom is called co-emerging wisdom. We have to create that much over every single moment, and then can become good meditator, Dharma practitioner. Otherwise, when we are get in the kitchen and meditate, like you can handle your thoughts, afflictive emotions, you are out of the kitchen. And when you are become in the public, and the worldly activity, then we cannot handle our thoughts, afflictive emotions. So that reason is like we not maintaining this co-emerging wisdom. Co-emerging wisdom, we have to maintain every moment, every single time. And so whatever you activity, worldly activity, we have to create this habituate, karmic imprint, habituate, used to that. We have to do that. So then can become good Dharma practitioner. Then Dharmata co-emerging wisdom comes into being. Since such wisdom occur freely, then that follows. And when thoughts rising, right moment recognize, release itself. Emotions rising, recognize, and release itself. So that's the freely, naturally happen and become habituate. And thus become the basis for the Buddha. So that's the check to the Buddha, and means enlightened source, nirvana. Come into being means free from samsara, enlightened. In general, those two are known as the all basis, king ye. So that's all the, basis is samsara, nirvana basis, generally. Dharmata and the dharming is basis of samsara. So king ye is like we already explained up there. King means everything, or ye means like grown. So king is then, no knowing, followed by co-emerging ignorance. here is like, dharmata, recognize, recognition, co-emerging wisdom. So that the basis is one, and that's why one ground, and the two path and the two result. Moreover, the dharma, which is the mental consciousness. So mental consciousness is, the mind has already subject and object. So that's why I call mental consciousness. Is the aspect of method. So that is aspect of method. Reason is, mental conscious arising or different kind of appearances. Appearances is become method, form. We talk about, the appearances is a method. Appearances itself is emptiness, is called wisdom. So method, wisdom is must be inseparable. When we, practice Mahamudra, but generally this goes to separate. This appearances arising with not knowing it is emptiness. Is mind, fixation attached to appearances. So then that is a causes of samsara become. And the Mahamudra practice means like when appearance is arising, appearance is emptiness. Emptiness is appearances, appearances become emptiness. So Sutra mentioned form is empty, emptiness is a form is no other than emptiness. Form is method, emptiness is wisdom. So Mahamudra meditators, when appearance is arising, recognize it is emptiness. Emptiness is arising from body. So wisdom method is become inseparable for the Mahamudra practitioner. Ordinary beings, when form is arising, is not emptiness. Form is arising, object of the fixation, object of the attachment. So then create, the causes of samsara. So that's why Jigten Songkhon here mentioned, dharma, which is the mental consciousness, is the aspect of the method. Means like it's realization of a method. The dharmata is the aspect of insight, is wisdom. So this two is, dharma method is appearances. Dharmata is mind nature, mind. Appearance is rising from actually mind, nature rising the appearances. And then if you not knowing that, and then you chasing, follow, then you habituate chasing the object, become fixation, then create attachment, create aversions. So causes of samsara. And the main point here, when appearance is rising, so recognize it is emptiness. So then appearances become method. Then dharmata, emptiness, wisdom is aspect of insight is wisdom. So the very easy way, what is the samsara? What is the Buddha? Like samsara means not knowing appearance is emptiness, and fixation to that become then causes of samsara. Dharma practice part of Buddha is when appearance is rising, recognize it is emptiness. Emptiness is rising the appearances. So then wisdom method is inseparable. So that's the part of enlightenment. That is called a form of enlightening form body. enlightened form body is not solid form body. Rising form is emptiness. Emptiness is a form. Form is no other than emptiness. Emptiness is no other than arising the form. So then that is the we call enlightened form body. Then next one. As for those two, respectively, these two is a the dharmata and the dharming, these two, respectively, co-emerging ignorance come into being with respect to dharming accumulated towardly and is similarly to a baby girl. So this is the Jiti Songgon sharing like co-emerging ignorance. How become created the samsara. He's sharing this example. Example is so for those two, respectively, the co-emerging ignorance come into being with respect to the dharma accumulated towardly and is similarly to a baby girl means so first dharma, not knowing, and then with co-emerging with ignorance, it's become, these two comes together and then become, samsara path. So accumulated towards daily, and it's similar to a baby girl means when baby girl and when the grow up, and then naturally, baby girl is become delivery many babies. Baby girls not anymore baby girl. So baby girl is grow up and then same co-emerging ignorance like with husband, and then become create many babies. So starting many babies create. Similarly, co-emerging, the dharma is the same as a baby girl. Co-emerging ignorance is the same as a husband. So then these two go together and create, accumulate means create many, become samsara, source or rising from samsara. The co-emerging wisdom come into being with respect to the dharmata and is similar to guarding the source or the life stories of Buddhas and the sentient beings are just like that. And then another hand, how to become create the enlightened path. The co-emerging wisdom come into being with dharmata, with respect to the dharmata and associated with the dharmata, and is similarly to become guarding the path, the follow that path. The source are the life story of a Buddha. So then become, we have enlightened life story, Buddha Shakyamuni, take to the enlightened path, source of Buddha. And the sentient beings are just like that, means like the dharma is called emerging with ignorance. And then same is baby girl is become grow up with followed by husband and create babies, like, create like samsara accumulation, conditions, or, take birth again in samsara. Another hand, then dharmata is called emerging with the wisdom. And then, that's guarding path is enlightening, source of enlightenment. So this just two is the sentient beings are just like this, means Buddha and the sentient being is a source. Then in general, for what reason do the sentient beings of samsara suffer? And generally, why is this, sentient beings are suffering in samsara? Why is it suffering? That is because after the dharma, namely the mental consciousness, look inwardly at the basis, which is dharmata, and it itself, it fixated on the us, I, and the self. So then dharma, the why we have become samsaric beings are suffering, because due to self-grasping. How to arising self-grasping? Self-grasping arising is, dharma mind. Dharma mind is not knowing. Not knowing, wisdom. Can you sit down, please? Yeah, it's just drain yourself, not serve people. So, dharma, is we have, this dharma is called mental consciousness. So dharma mental consciousness is look inwardly, means like dharma consciousness is not knowing, and then not knowing is what is not knowing. Also looking to is I and self. It's actually not knowing dharmata. Dharmata is become fixation to the dharmata, actually dharmata, and unborn mother dharma dharma is emptiness, but not knowing that, and become this dharma mind, mental consciousness, fixation to the dharmata. And looking inwardly is dharmata, and at the basis, which is dharmata, and it itself, it fixed on them as I and self, means become mind is fixation to I and self. Actually, I and self is no exist. It is unborn mother dharma dharma. We usually say supplication tara. Unborn mother dharma dharma is dharmata. Not knowing that dharma mind fixation to unborn mother dharma dharma, fixation to unborn mother dharma dharma, become create I and self. So I and self thereby then accumulating afflictive obscurations, become created then obscurations. Obscurations, so like fixation, and then attachment and aversion, or this is then, afflictive emotion rising, become, we call, origination of suffering. So origination of suffering, source is self-grasping. So self-grasping means actually I and the self is emptiness. It's unborn mother dharma dharma, emptiness. But due to this dharma mind, co-emerging ignorance, fixation to dharma dharto, and then create I and the self. Then due to I and the self become, arising, ignoring. I mean, due to the or other afflictive emotions rising. So then that create a karma. Then karma take birth in samsara. Due to that, that's why we are suffering in samsara, Why the sentient beings are suffering in samsara? Because due to this, origination of suffering. The origination of suffering source is self-grasping. Self-grasping source is co-emerging ignorance. Co-emerging ignorance is fixation to dharma dharto. Because of the not knowing dharma dharta, fixation to that become I and the self. Then due to that arising ignorance, the afflictive emotions. So that's the become then source of samsara, and that's the reason samsaric beings are suffering, because due to afflictive emotion, sources of self-grasping sources ignorance is co-emerging ignorance. Co-emerging ignorance, not knowing is natural ripa. Then thereby accumulated afflictive obscurations. Then in this situation, it did not ascertain the all basis. In this situation, it did not ascertain the all basis, like no certainty. Certain like basis means like, no certainty. It is did not certain the all basis. So no certain means like it's we have a dharmata and a dharming, two difference, and which direction I think goes, no certainty. Ascertain, did not ascertain the all basis, and subsequently so this explain more again Jiti Sungu. We have this thing here is the all basis. The all basis is become did not certain means like no really no knowing. No knowing is become is go to the dharming mind, like co-emerging ignorance, and all subsequently there arose the mental consciousness that is called ignorance of imputation. So King the Tagpa Marikpa, and then this has two different ignorance. One is a co-emerging ignorance, is with the starting not knowing is called co-emerging ignorance rising, and then another is become our the like conscious, or when minds already followed by co-emerging ignorance, follow that direction, uncertainly, and subsequently means like already habituated that. There arose the mental consciousness, so then arose another like become thicker, strong ignorance, consciousness that is called ignorance ignorance of imputation, means create more fixation attachment. And so this two is two different ignorances. One is co-emerging ignorance is like when we taking birth in samsara, it's already co-emerging ignorance. And then when we take the birth to, like example, human beings karmic imprints, especially followed by the own culture, or own nationality, or like concepts of the people's concepts. We follow that is called ignorance of imputation, like imputing more strong fixations. So when you see the, like example, yellow gore, you seeing the yellow, so it's already co-emerging ignorance, because we know seeing yellow is emptiness. Okay, the orange kind of gore is orange, right? So when you see the orange or yellow gore color, and you seeing that, and you knowing it is emptiness, is you seeing yellow is co-emerging ignorance, become you recognize it is expensive. Okay, someone say gore is expensive. You seeing the gore moment, not only yellow, you recognize it's valuable, it's so a special object, expensive. You become more fixation. So that's called ignorance of imputation. It's become more strong and thicker. And that's called the Kenta Takpa Marikpa, means like create. When you see, you don't recognize, but followed by culture or someone telling you gold is expensive, then you recognize gold is expensive. Then after you see the gold moment, not only the color you seeing, but you moment that you recognize is extremely expensive. So, and that is called the Kenta Takpa Marikpa, means like creating, and not just knowing, like right moment the knowing, someone telling us, and expensive. Then after you recognize it's expensive, treasure object something. So it's called Kenta Takpa Marikpa. It's then more strong. Ignorance is more imputation is create more strong. A mental consciousness that discriminates between entities. So then say, okay, a mental consciousness that discriminates between entity in Nathan, discriminate between discriminate, not discrimination is different than yeah, mental consciousness that discriminate sorry, between entities. Then what is it says, dango or no? What is this one? Tibetan is actually Nipo. I think it's Nipo. Cái the top of Marikpa Shiba. Nga Tang. Nipo Chupa Yaki somewhere. Okay, so now I explained up there, this getting the top of Marikpa is become more strong, fixation, and followed by culture or tradition. when when we first born baby don't recognize gold is expensive. But then someone telling us gold is expensive. After that, when you see the gold, it's become different. So that then it's become more thicker ignorance. Mental, consciousness discriminates between entity. Khenpo means like all the object become a strong fixation. Like then you have like, okay, this is a great object, valuable object. This one is not valuable or something, that we have separations, discriminating. Is correct? Between, entities. Okay. So that's called the Takpa Marikpa means ignorance of imputation, meaning. And so that's the, everything like in the within in this worldly. Whatever we have the object, someone say expensive, then after your mind also already imprinted, like become when they see after object, that object you always see thing is expensive. And someone said this is inexpensive, it's no important object. Then after you seeing when they're seeing the object, it's become not important, not expensive. So that's the core ignorance of imputation. And we don't have that when we was born. And someone put that, imputation means like someone put into our mind. Teachers or followed by cultures, traditions put in the mind. For example, just like the baby girl grew up and then started to look for a home and a husband, the mental consciousness looked outward and went after the 5 things, doors and their objects, the baby accumulating various karmas. Okay, that example is correct or no? You understand, right? Example? Yeah. Okay, so then this ignoring of imputation is, example is like baby girl. It's first when the baby girl born, they're not looking for the home and husband. So that is a co-emergent ignorance, like we talked already. But then they grow up slowly, then the girl looking for home and a husband. Similarly, then when we first born, we have a co-emergent ignorance, then followed by culture, followed by traditions, we associated ignorance of imputation. And then girl also, like when first born, she thinking about create a family and a husband, not thinking about, but when grow up, then it's chasing that. The mental consciousness, then same is like the mental consciousness looked towards, and they went after the 5 things. So followed by 5 things as doors. And there's objects, thereby accumulating various karmas. Then we create lots of different karmas. We chasing the 5 object. Chasing 5 object and fixation to the 5 object, then that is become, create causes of suffering. So air is chasing to the, song. And then they have examples, like deers listening to the musics. The deers, or I don't know, some animals listening to the music. And then hunters go to very close to shoot the arrow and die. So that means air is attached to the song and lose the life. Then eye is attached to the form. Many bugs jump into the fire. So it's burn the whole body, right? So that's the eye is attached to the appearances, the causes of suffering. And then tongue is attached to the to the taste. So the fish people cooked the fishing, hooked up. The reason is because fish is attached to the taste. and then they eat something they don't recognize is going to hook, right? Fishing has a hook, yeah. So then they get caught up, and elephant is attached to senses, body senses. So that's why they're stuck in the muddy, right? Mud, normal mud, and stuck there and die. So that's the we are so suffering. The reason is in samsara is like they become after the five senses doors and their object thereby accumulated various karmas. Thus after it apprehended, right? Apprehend no entities as entities and as in I and I self. So you see, thus after it apprehended no entities. So as entities, like in the seeing, I mean, all the form object is not truly and existed. Like we say existed means like not truly permanent. It's a little bit better, not truly permanent, and it's impermanent. But we know knowing it is impermanent, it's we chasing them is like same as a permanent. And then so the apprehended no entities as entities. Impermanent object we are fixation to is like impermanent object. So that's the like we do all this in the worldly. Right now we think about all the human beings. So no one thinking about going to die and like thinking about what we have to do in the bardo and the future life. We always thinking about today and tomorrow and in this life, and very fixation to that. Even some people are very old, like already more than 80 years old, but they're still not thinking about like future life, only in fixation to this life. And then we know the politicians only like presidents 4 years, 5 years. That fighting is like kind of a more enlightenment, permanent enlightenment. So that's is apprehend no entities as entities become no true ones. We chasing is truth as entities, and us in then I and ourself. So we don't have actually I and self, but strongly fixation to always I and self. It accumulated where virtues and non-virtues. So then we create create good karma also, virtuous deeds, and we also create non-virtuous karma too. Because all the human beings not always create non-virtuous deeds. We don't create all the time virtuous deeds too. So if people follow the Dharma or not follow the Dharma, doesn't matter. I mean, just generally we know people create virtuous deeds too, and they do many good things, create good karma. And we also know, so like even follow Dharma, not follow Dharma, sometimes we create non-virtuous deeds too. So that's why everyone create accumulated virtues and non-virtuous karma as well as whereas habitual tendencies. So we create lots of diversity karma, and we create a positive karma, negative karma. Then with this, so due to this karma, as the producing cause, sentient beings. So then create samsara sentient beings, create the root of suffering and the samsara. So the create samsara, because due to this, our karma is create different karmas, 6 different realms. So, we have 6 afflictive emotions. Which one is the strongest? Then we create that realm's karmic imprints more strong. And then each samsara, this 6 realm is a suffering. No one is free from suffering. Especially the lower realm, hair realms, hungry ghosts, and animals, more suffering. And then human being has a temporary happiness, but also suffering, happiness, same as day and night, change all the time. So God's realm is more happy than human beings, but it is also, impermanent. It's one day they lost the happiness too. So then they're extremely suffering. So that's why it doesn't matter we take birth to 6 realms. And within these 6 realms, no one free from suffering. That's why it's, of course, samsara is a suffering in the samsara. There came into being many suffering that consist of discomfort for the mind, such as birth, aging, sickness, and death. So then, due to, this ignorance, and ignorance create, fixation, attachment, and then emotion. So karma take us to in different these realms, and then this different realm has different sufferings, and especially human being. For us, we have, birth suffering, and sickness, and death. So that's a suffering is every single human being has. No one free from that. Even someone is like life is great, but that person is no one free birth suffering, sickness suffering, and death suffering. That's called nature of phenomena. And so that's then every single being in samsara is suffering. Then, moreover, as the ignorance of imputation is similar to the girl choosing her home, the mental consciousness, just like a company, lead to external distraction. For example, just like in the case of a man and a woman having a intercourse, one follows the company through the 5 senses doors, and as a result of this, family line of children and grandchildren grows. Accordingly, one becomes confused in terms of the 6 types of beings, the 4 types of rebirth, and the 5 parts of beings. 5 parts of beings. I don't understand anything. I'm kidding, I understand. I just need water to drink. No, thank you, I'm good. So here, moreover, as the ignorance of imputation, so we have 2 different ignorance. One is the co-emerging ignorance, and in this one is ignorance of imputation. And imputation ignorance is like create more strong ignorance, and not only not knowing your own nature, and become, create more habitual karmic imprints, ignorance of imputation. So it's similar to the girl choosing her home. So same is like this imputation ignorance is the same as like then girl is grow up, she choosing the home. The ignorance looking to many, become object. So we, due to these fixations, like become, we need lots of different things, right? for our life. So we looking many, desire object. So that is the same as like girl choosing the home. The mental consciousness then mental consciousness is just like a companion. So then, the mental consciousness is followed by this ignorance of imputation. So I think, this ignorance of imputation is like some object, example, someone really like the car. And, that's, you see the car extremely, attach fixation to the car. So that is ignorance of imputation. Then the mental consciousness is like just mind, then we just follow that. Mind really don't have a choice, kind of like followed by the fixations, attachment. Right? And someone very strongly fixation to the family. And then that mind, no choice, like just follow the companion with the fixation. And followed by the ignorance. Mind is just companion with the ignorance. So the attachment follow the, ignorance is create the causes of suffering. Actually, wisdom create the causes of happiness. The other me important is 1 minute. So we think about ignorance. So like if we first think about everyone, we love our own family. So can be two different directions. One is like, you love families through your wisdom, could be wisdom, right? And then so what your family need. You can help them. You not really fixation. Same as like elephant stuck in the mud. And elephant stuck in the mud is same as like ignorance, attachment with the family. And so without the like wisdom, like knowing is like so like what you can have family and take to their good life. So it's wisdom is called worldly wisdom, not the absolute true wisdom, but worldly wisdom. Knows how to create a good life for them and support them, but not create them causes of suffering. And our mind is a very no strong fixation attached to them. And you see the water is beautiful, and so you can like maybe examples like very beautiful lake, and you can swim in the beautiful lake, enjoy that, use the lake, and you see it's a beautiful lake. So that is the worldly wisdom with family, enjoy. And ignorance with family is, then you see the beautiful lake, you don't know how to swim, and you jump in the lake, you stuck inside there, you sinking in the lake, you die yourself. So that's the and then ignorance, I think, is then mind didn't have a choice because of fixation with attachment, family, loved ones, very strong fixation, attachment. Then your mind didn't have a ability, freedom. So you are become stuck with that. And then you don't know really how to help your family. And you maybe become, due to your fixations, create more problem with your family, create more suffering each other. So that's the same, here. The mental consciousness, not really choice, because due to co-emerging, this ignorance of imputation is so strong. and their mind really don't have a choice. So the mind is just like in the mental consciousness, just like a company with, our fixation attachment, lead to external distraction, then lead to the external, distraction, distractions. Become, mind is just followed by external distractions, fixation to that. For example, just like in the case of me and a woman having an intercourse, one follows the company through the 5 sense doors, and as a result of this, a family line of children and grandchildren grows. So then, this become mind is followed by chasing by the external object. So then, me and the woman create many babies, right? So that's, become, we create many causes of samsara. So that's this example, but the point is, you see, due to mind's fixation external object. And then this fixation external object is, limited, unlimited, because you're never going to then become satisfied. It's more desires. And chasing through that, then create more like, same is lead to external distinction example. So just like the cause of me and a woman having intercourses, one follows the company through the 5 senses doors, and as a result of this, a family line of children and grandchildren grows. Accordingly, one becomes confused in terms of the 6 types of beings, the 4 types of rebirth, and the 5 parts of being. So then, see, it's like family create children and grandchildren, and then grows like many family line of children. So same is like we create all these different kind of realms. One becomes confused in terms of the 6 steps of beings, 3 lower realms, 3 higher realms, 6 steps of beings. The 5 types of births. 5 types of birth is it's actually 4. I see the 4 types of birth. I'm doing the mistakes reading. 4 types of birth. So like we have a warm birth, egg birth, moisture birth, and miraculous birth. So 4 types of birth, and the 5 part of being. So 5 part of being is Lam Junga. So 5 part of being is I don't remember exactly. I think this one 5 part of being is when we die. It's this the Bardo beings has a 5 part of beings. So this then become create with samsara. 5 part of beings, like I'm going to let you know tomorrow, next week. I mean, then lesson Zopa. So don't Jiktin Sungo say lesson against Zopa. I think we leave this today here in this section, and then we go to the Bardo, and also we have Genji Mahamudra. So now we go to from here Bardo. Which number yesterday we?
Adopted the notes. Not % sure.
Number 12 or 11 or?
Third,
13.
Number 13. Okay. Okay, air faculty. So we have this gross level, 20 dissolution stages. Gross level, 20 dissolution stages. And the one is asked the air faculty. Air faculty dissolves. Air faculty dissolves. Oh no, sorry, F13 is not air faculty. Number 13 is as the first element are dissolved. That's correct.
As the fire element dissolves. Is that what you have, Khenpo?
As the fire element.
We did that yesterday. We are in number 14, I think.
Okay, as the nose of faculty. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. And follow you. And as the nose faculty dissolves, upper respiration slows. So nose. Okay, see Wangbo, your okay, your tremolo. So nose faculty when it dissolves, so then upper respiration slows, like the air is go very slow. The 15 is asked the object smell dissolve. The person can no longer detect the what is the odors of their own body. So they're not really knowing their own smell, right? And then I'm already dead. I didn't know my own smells. Okay, so there's the smell is not knowing. When the dissolution is become our object of smell dissolve, not knowing our own smell. As the aggregates of formations dissolve, the person is unable to carry out physical activities. Aggregates of formation when they dissolve, so then the dry person is unable to carry out, means like they cannot move itself, right? They cannot move physically already, become stuck. Physical activities gone. As the all accomplishing wisdom dissolves, the person can no longer remember ordinary mundane tasks, right? Or the purpose. So when we, dissolution is become aggregates of formations dissolve, and then, as the all called accomplishing wisdom dissolves. Accomplishing wisdom, no thing recognize. The person can no longer remember, see? The no remember anything. Ordinary minding, even like ordinary minding minds, everything is forget. So they forget like their own family, children, like parents, whatever or have, or is become forget. That's all the purpose. So then yesterday I share here is the wisdom, accomplishment wisdom. And each wisdom, as long as you longer remember, and any like this ordinary mundane you remember, long as you no longer fixation to that, then that is called accomplishing wisdom. But why we don't have this wisdom is gone? The reason is because of no remember, and then you cannot create accomplishment wisdom during that moment. So accomplishment wisdom is you recognize, remember, recognize, and then that you can transform to emptiness is called wisdom. But you no remember, no recognize, then no possible to transform to wisdom. So that's why, and in this dissolution stages, no wisdoms in there. The reason is, no source of wisdom. Right now we are alive, so we can remember everything, and we know everything, what is, all these mundane things. And then these mundane things we knowing, remembering, is recognized, it is emptiness, then create the wisdom. But no in dissolution, this states, we know knowing, we know recognize, that's why no wisdom there. So I think that's my understand. Ordinary mundane test or the purpose. Then as the wing element dissolve, the 10 internal wings shift from their usual locations. Wing element dissolves, longer contemplate, long chưa nên bộ. Okay, so as the wing element dissolve, the 10 internal wings shift, like 10 different, I think, wing is maybe, through with the body. So this 10 internal wings become shift from the usual location. It's a change to location, different directions. And lastly, we have this wing element generally go through our body, 10 internal. It's going out through the 10, different maybe doors or, internal. Then, or maybe within our body inside, moving 10 different doors, moving maybe different channels, through the wing. But then that is become a shift, a change to different directions. Internal wings shift from the usual locations. As the trunk faculty dissolve, so now the trunk dissolving, the trunk feels thicker and shorter than usual, and the trans blue at its best. So when this tongue is dissolving, become, you know, the tongue is first like become very thick, and then of course cannot move, cannot talk, thicker, and become tongue is more shorter than usual, and the tongue become shows up the blue color, blue at its base. The tongue is appear to the blue color. So that's the sign of the dissolution of death. And then the last one, I think, as the object test dissolves, the person can no longer detect the 6 kinds of test. So object of test dissolve, then we cannot detect all the 6 kinds of test like, what just we talked to Mahamudra, we talk about all these senses. And we can, different feelings can detect it. But then when the object test dissolves, so the person no longer detects 6 kinds of test. No longer, detect the test. So that's the author level, 20 different dissolution stages. Then the following, the process of subtle inner dissolution. So now is we have another, inner level dissolutions. So this inner level is called more subtle inner dissolution. Author, gross level 20 dissolution, we already mentioned up there, explain. Now is go to this subtle inner dissolution. The 20 coarse forms of dissolution which unfold in this way comes. So as the earth dissolves into water, so now in this, element dissolving, so the, we have 5 elements. So first, the earth dissolves into the water. In this dissolution has sometimes different ways, like earth dissolve to the earth. So water dissolve to the water. Some in teachings talk about that each element dissolve to each element. But in this one, like inner, I think, when we die, inner dissolution, subtle dissolution is like the disease experience. The dying person experience is earth dissolve into water. The person is unable to move. The body and the kin no. So earth dissolve into the water. So then no longer person has like ability to move. Longer maintain its strength. As a body and the kin no longer maintain its strength. It feels as if the body is sinking into the ground. So when we die, in that time, so this earth is dissolving into the water. The dying person experience is like our body is like we are falling inside the like ground, under the ground. So that's the disease experience, sinking into the ground, like under the ground, becomes so, the body is so heavy and something like pushing into the body, and you cannot move, like many 100,000 kgs is in the top of the body. So that's the experience, when our earth dissolve into the water, sinking into the ground. As on inner sun, there is a shimmering, right? Shimmering expanse of blue, and the impression of softly dazzling rain and following water. So and then this is the, you know, like also the dying person experiences as an inner sun, you know, their own experience and inner sun is there is a shimmering experience of blue, and also the impression of softly dazzling rain and following water. So then experience is like so like flowing water means like lots of rain, like, you know, we know the water flowing, and that's kind of experience for the disease, like dying person have experience, and dazzling rain and following water. The, you know, the earth is dissolving to the water, then, you know, bodies become like same as falling under the ground, and heavy, and then experience arising is like, see, is dazzling rain and following water. So inner sun of that rising. So that's the earth dissolve into the water. Then next is as water dissolve into fire. The moment and the nostrils draw up, and the tongue becomes lodged against the palate. So this, you know, become water dissolve into the fire. Then our mouth is like become nostril dry, and no any like water come from, and the tongue also become lodged against the palate. The as inner sun, there is an appearance of a smoky, hazy. What is a sibiling or?
Like, so it's kind of going over the desert.
Sibiling on a plain, I see. Okay, so
It's
then
like
this.
smoke moving around on a plane, on a field, smoke moving.
Okay, so that's I have experience when I was in Calgary last weeks. And we cannot see any from anything, like all is small, and okay, so then this is, you know, water dissolve into the fire, become, you know, as inner sun, there is an appearance of a smoky, hazy, sizzling on a plane. That's the water dissolve into fire. Then fire dissolve into the wind. The body loses the heat in its extremities, and the stomach, right? Stomach. This is digestive energy grows weaker. Okay, no more digest. Its digest is gone, and our bodies like, you know, the fire is dissolved, so its warmth is gone. Into the wind, the body lose heat and its extremities. and the stroma digestive energy grows weaker. As in inner sun, shimmering, red sparks, crackers, and flicker like fire flames. So this, like we have bugs like flying with fire bugs, right? So, and that's kind of, I think, experience arising from the diseased person, spark and cracker, and the flicker like fire flames. Then long namshila tempe. As when dissolve into the consciousness, the when is dissolving to consciousness, exhalation become longer, and as the coarse outer breath cease. So then when this when is dissolved into the conscious, become like this is long exhalation become longer, and as the coarse outer breath cease means that you cannot really inhale, bring into the, like, you have long exhale, then dying, like you cannot bring into areas into the body again. Breathing cease. The person is unable to inhale. See, as an inner sun, there's a vision of a burning lamp and many torches, orange in a row. So it's rising, the many burning lamps, and many torches, orange in a row. So that's is our, when it's dissolved into the consciousness experience. So then consciousness dissolve into space. As inner sun awareness is very clear, and as in outer sun, there is an experience like the sky devoid of clouds. So see, consciousness when dissolving into space, then as inner sun's awareness is very clear. And as an outer sun, there is an experience like the sky devoid of clouds. I think so. There's usually say the practitioner meditator, liberate into the death bardo. So someone meditate Mahamudra, they realize in these states. So when the consciousness dissolve into space, then as an inner sun, awareness is very clear. And as outer sun, there is an experience like the sky devoid of clouds. So consciousness, dissolving into the space. So when we, meditate, all this fixation, thoughts dissolve into emptiness, become our minds, no longer conscious. Conscious means like chasing the object. So mind is no longer chasing the object. Then mind becomes same as a space. It's freedom. So independent, like, that experience become Mahamudra. And then Mahamudra meditators hold that awareness and, realize it's called the liberation, death, bardo, liberation to the Dharmakaya. And that is we have in the, herring liberation teaching. So the first liberation state. So that's come from, I think, in this experience, the practitioners transform to this experience is to the wisdom Dharmakaya. Very clear, and as an author son, there is an experience like the sky devoid of clouds. Then as space dissolve into luminosity, four visions gradually unfold. So then this one is the very important instruction in this section is this section dissolutions. When space dissolve into luminosity, so no space is like experience like emptiness, is dissolved to luminosity, and then that moment of four visions gradually unfold. So four visions is like rising one by one, gradually unfold. Then four visions one by one here. So the white essence obtained from the Father descends from the crown, and then it reaches in the heart. There is a white is called appearances. As an author son, this is a accompanied, right? Accompanied by an experience of whiteness as wing. So we, our body has this true essence. One is white essence, come from the Father. So the white essence, obtained is Father. That's descend from the crown, means like white essence is in the crown. And when we die, that become descend down to in the heart. And then it reach the heart when that, this white essence is descend into heart center. There is a white is in called appearances. Then we have appearances as an author sum means like author level experience is this is a compounded by an experience of whiteness as a wing. Moon light first are completely clear sky. So then, when we have a very clear sky, think about like full moon day, full moon night, like sky is very clear, and that entirely free from clouds. So then, same as that night, like moonlight shining. So that kind of, ultra level sun experience rising. Also in so that's the also. So moonlight is like very clear. Moonlight first completely clear sky that is entirely from the clouds. And also then inner sun, there is a clear experience of the self clarity of consciousness, devoid of any cause, thoughts, states, focus on perceived objects. So then, when this white essence is into heart center, all this inner science become all our thoughts is, dissolved. See, consciousness or avoid of any course of thoughts states. Focus on perceive objects, so then your minds become very clear, and all this gross level thought is dissolved. Conscious minds become very clear, present, I think. So it's Mahamudra, like experience rising in the moment. But we don't know how to meditate Mahamudra, some, no habituate karmic imprints. Then this experience, like no recognition, is Mahamudra experience. So that's why, in the living part though is most important than dying, death part though, and the becoming part though. The reason is, right now we are in the living part though. During the living part though, we, listening this Mahamudra Dzogchen teaching and practicing. And then in the death part though, when we have this experience rising, so we, recognize this experience like bring into Mahamudra meditation. So usually we have like gross level thoughts all the time. Very hard to, stop that. But in this level, naturally, all these thoughts is dissolving. And that's why, meditators easily, I think, into this Mahamudra, experience state. So self-clarity of consciousness, devoid of any coarse thought state. Focus on perceived objects.
If you want to keep going, it's 5 to 9, Khenpo.
So now is I think we can stop here. It's exactly the timing is finished here, and the section also the white drop is descending into to the heart center, and so now is we can live here and practice Mahamudra in this way. Homework is Mahamudra meditating. When we have this experience, then we can, transform all this, when we have this dissolution stages rising, and we can handle this, take to the Mahamudra practice. So next week, I'm going to share here also Genje Mahamudra, because we have Genje Mahamudra instruction is not finished. In this area, is perfect to share Genje Mahamudra. And then, of course, the Jigten Sunggung, the Mahamudra, clarify, confession, transforming. So continue next week. And please put the signs, the way we stop recognize, okay? Not forget everyone's job. So now we go to the dedication. Dorjen Chang, Delopa, Naropa, Marba, Malarepa, Dharmalo, Gambopa, Pamotropa, Lord Digomba, please be stopping us, most auspicious being over Kaju Lamas. By this virtue may achieve emanations by defeating all enemies, confusion, may all who travels on the waves of birth, all the ages, sickness, death, across the ocean of Samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent, the precious mind, where it is unborn, may it rising, where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a long good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray your Dharma activities are far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As a Manjushri Vero realized the autonomic state, and as did the Samantabhada, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the bless of the Buddha who attained the Tirikayas, by the bless of the true and unchanging Dharma as such, by the bless of individual Sangha order, may the merit I shall bear fruit. By the virtue collected in 3 times, by my 7 all beings in Samsara and Nirvana, and by the inner rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of Guru Digompa Ranashiri, whose emanation, Lord of Dharma, Master of Interdependence, continue to increase through study, practice, contemplation, meditation, unto the end of the Samsara. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you, everyone. Tashi Dele, and see you tomorrow morning. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Khenpo La.
Thank you.
Thank you,
来，仁
Khenpo.
波切，谢谢，我 see you
上师
tonight。，
感恩医师，
谢谢，
晚安吉祥。
感恩上师，
谢谢。
谢谢，
Still
感
have
恩
class this afternoon, right?
感谢永志先
Oh,
生。
what one? Khenpo, we see you tonight.
Oh, yes. For
感恩上师，上师扎西德勒。
We have teachings.
Thank
Alam
you
to
so much,
感
感恩翻译师兄，
Oh, what
上
one?
师分析所有接法的师兄们，
Grazie,
谢谢翻
grazie.
译。
Terima kasih.
Obrigada. Fausto.
You, Kepola, thank you.
Thank
Arigato.
you.